Wait a second. If that woman was her mother, not Saray, but the syphilis lady, and Lakan were a thing, wouldn't that imply that Lakan has syphilis?
人種様の薬だよな。
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we are back with more Apothecary Diaries. We are going in to episode 18? Is it 18 today? Lock on? Which means that we have notes for episode 17. I should also mention, we do have a board, and the board will be linked down below. I just have not made any changes since the last episode because nothing particularly has changed. No new characters, no new character relationships, no new real revelations. Like, there are maybe some revelations as I discuss in my notes, but nothing 100% that I would put down on the board. So, not showing the board this episode. Well, another time that I was right about the opening. I think I'm like 50-50 so far. Unfortunately, the things I've been wrong about thus far have been the big things, like Lakan being in love and not the horrible monster he actually seems to be. No, the things I got right are more on the level of applying makeup and force-feeding a medic to Maomao. I guess showing my mystery-solving acumen, hidden picture games, and what's happening in this photo. I will say the description given of how to weed out customers for the Verdigris house is not something I would have considered offhand. I guess that one episode where we dealt with the assassination attempt from the courtesan in the first half was meant to put us on that mindset of what it really means to live in the pleasure district, and that dangers aren't always from the vectors that you think they are coming from. It's still a far stretch from everything is horrible all the time, but the considerations of the pleasure district are just as in-depth as the political maneuverings of the rear palace. There is an element, I feel like, that at some point Maomao's observations of Jinshi's beauty turned from observation to appreciation, I think. I don't know. It seems far less biting these days to hear her talk about Jinshi's positive physical features. I guess, like, it's not a noble looking down on her that she has to deal with, so it's become commonplace. As I've said a number of times before, each episode that itself doesn't expound upon some greater thread that I usually think is happening also usually gives you knowledge that is meant to be important later in some context. Sometimes it's some passing mention of an ordinary thing that you don't even think about. In this case, I have to wonder if the element of disguise itself is going to be a thing. That we are doing all of this for Jinshi's motive, but to have it come into play later as being introduced here. Hell, what if someone already on screen is someone we already know? Like the new pure consort. What if we already knew her? I think I've got a future note about a possibility involving that. So is the indicator that Basen is bad at being hidden, or that Jinshi is good at spotting people trying to hide? Once again, we mention Lu Min and his odd position in the world. I still think it's entirely possible he is a part of his own conspiracy, especially considering not only what he was accused of doing, but what was done to him. Lu Men is who taught Maomao to be Sherlock Holmes. There is no way he didn't notice the things that the show would try and suggest happened without his knowing. He had to have been directly involved in switching the babies. In which case, one has to wonder on the involvement of the mothers as well. How deep does this rabbit hole go? We've yet to really explore the why of it either, at least not to my satisfaction. So I still believe we've got a lot of surprising reveals ahead of us. Soldiers go to camp, not eunuchs. Good to know. Bringing back the question of if they would have done that to Jinshi. It made sense when he was some random official in the rear palace who had to be responsible for a lot of beautiful women. Less so knowing everything we know about him now. I anticipate that a lot of people Maomao thinks are eunuchs are going to turn out not to be. This is the second time that they are reminding us of how Jinshi can't handle losing a favorite toy. Last time, Gaoshin implied that Maomao was more than a toy now. Still, this combined with my interpretation from last episode of the ritual items and the opening breakdown, I anticipate we're going to have a fake death and Jinshi believing Maomao dies and seeing what he does then. Pretty massive change in description. Lu Men went from constantly being referred to as dad to adoptive father. That is a completely new wrinkle in things, and relatively out of the blue. Why would you suddenly distance yourself that way? Either way, adoptive father, implying that he picked her up from somewhere and raised her. The two biggest things jumping into my head are, one, the palace conspiracy. If Lu Men was involved with switching 2 children, then why not 3? Who's to say that he didn't obfuscate a sibling's birth with a death? There is too much going on to just reasonably write off as being done. And 2. Lakan's mysterious verdigris house courtesan. We know there is a mysterious room there that Granny asked Maomao if she had visited, implying some connection to her. Then I believe I thought there might be a connection between Lakan and the girl he reduced in value, especially based on my thoughts of the opening. What if Maomao was that woman's daughter and Lu Men took her in to keep her safe? Especially if he knows about Lakan from his own court physician days. Though, that would raise the question as to who her real dad might be. Lakan himself? It is a method Maomao suggests to reducing value, that he may have forced himself on her and Maomao was the result. I know I keep going back to the wounds of the person in the opening, but this is a completely different path we're going down. And if the two things are unconnected, connecting a couple of my former thoughts together in my conspiracy mind, what if I have things in reverse? What if the injured person in the opening and the uninjured person playing Go are still the same person, but things are being shown in reverse order? What if the whole disguise element is someone injured seeking revenge and disguising themselves as uninjured? Like, what if the pure consort looks so ominous because they are that person and they avoid contact for fear of removing their makeup? I suppose it could also be the other way around. Someone in makeup to appear injured would fit into my Maomao will appear dead later conspiracy. Alright, last note. Only those chosen by the Empire are allowed to study abroad. Lu Men was invested into by the Empire then, adding to his backstory. Not really usable intel at the moment, but noted. Anshi made Lu Men a eunuch. Anshi being the dowager, Empress Dowager. Anshi made Lu Men a eunuch before the baby switching thing, for which they also then broke his leg. Not exactly sure what the point of making him a eunuch before sending him overseas to learn what Western medicine might be, I guess other than to reduce temptation to stay in said foreign country and squander the resources the Empire has invested in you. Although, to be fair, sorry, this isn't even in my note, but if you made me a eunuch and then I went to a Western country, I'm not incentivized to come back, knowing what you all did to me the first time. But then again, I'm thinking with a modern mindset and a foreign mindset as well, even though technically those are one and the same. A modern is foreign to the past. I don't know. I don't know. I cannot imagine living in a place where the only path towards progress in a social aspect is to. So, either way, that said, those are my notes. Obviously, had no board, no comments, so nothing left to do but to head on in and see what Lakan is about.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
And I will say, even though I really liked the first opening, and I guess I kind of maybe threw a bit of shade on this one as being a bit more generic anime, really is building on me. I really do like it. The opening animation, maybe not so much, because I really feel like the first opening was a lot more interpretational. Because, how many times did I say, oh, this is kind of like Maomao believing this thing about her, and then this is actually the other half of her, and maybe this is what she actually dreams of, and this is what her reality is. Whereas, legitimately, a bunch of these animations have come to pass. So, the element that is actively... I don't know if I'm going to use the word spoiling, because how much can an opening really spoil you? But, I mean, the fact that things have actually happened, I will say, I will give them credit, that they've technically kind of, like, reanimated events from the show. Which is to say that, like, Jinshi forcing the emetic down Maomao's throat isn't itself a scene that we saw in the anime, although I could also say they probably maybe took the scene, cut it out, put it in the anime, so I have no idea. So important of a line, we have to repeat it to make sure everyone remembers. Also, once again, remember that he was putting two and two together about who Lu Men was, or at least the idea that the person she's referring to could be Lu Men. Which then... Yeah, so she does know. Sorry, I mean, the person who I'm thinking she might be referring to in the Vertiger's house. Oh, are you emotional because of fucking Jinshi? Her mother? Or a really fucked up Lakan? Sorry, Lakan's eyes have a very specific thing about them. Makes it hard to figure out if I'm looking at him or not in a shadow. Also, there appeared to be somebody with their hands tied in the scene, so it could be Lakan trying to kill the evidence of what he'd done.
いいけど。
よう、マオマオ。お勤めはいいのか？
休みもらえたから。
休みなのに、結局薬屋に来たんだな。
ついでにね。それで来たわけじゃない。
I think we've ever seen a guy in the Vertigo's house before.
その話はもういいじ
I
ゃない。
mean, a serving guy.
おかえり。暑いよ、バイリン姉ちゃん。私は寒いわ。おばばの小言ばっかりで。
話はまだ終わってないよ。さあ、どっちにするんだい？
よくわからないけど。
Is Bosin coming out here now too?
だいたいお前がいつまでも居座るから、こっちが話を取り持ってやってんだろ。
頼んでません。おばばはいつも勝手なの。
勝手とはなんだい、勝手とは。
I mean, that would explain the opening bit.
マオマオ、来てたのかい？
We would literally get her and somebody hosing hard, and it's like, is that Bosin or is that Lihaku? Oh, is this the Annex? Or whatever that place was I keep forgetting the name of?
おはよう。昔は毛嫌いされて追い出されたけど、もうそんな元気もないか。それとも、とうに言葉も忘れたか。
Oh, we're finally meeting Bed Lady.
病が進んで、記憶もズタズタに引き裂かれてる。
Is this,
親父の薬はよく効くけど、こうなっては
I
気が済
remember
ま
in
んもん
episode
な。
1, I made a guess about a very specific disease,
与えるしか治療法がわから
and
ない。
people thought I was fucking crazy that I called out a disease that obviously was wrong, but
あの客、また来てますよ。
まったく鼻が利くね。めいめいお呼びな。
六召喚は今でこそ格式ある技能だが、十数年前泥のかかった看板をかけていた時期がある。この妓女はその数年間に客を取り、不幸にも梅毒を移された。
okay, I was wrong then. I clearly do not know what
親
syphilis
父が
fucking
六
looks
召
like.
喚を訪れた頃は、ちょうど病が潜伏期間に入っていたらしい。病状を伝えていれば対処もできただろうが、突然現れた元宦官の男を皆が
I'll also say I would have said the disease by now, but I keep forgetting the name. Starts with an L. Your body parts fall off.
客を取らねば食うていけない。それが技能の掟だ。数年後、再び発疹が出始めると、腫瘍は瞬く間に広がった。以来女は客の目の届かぬこの離れに押し込められている。使い物にならなくなった妓女がドブに投げ出されなかっただけ寛容だ。
Yeah, leprosy. Sorry, Phil Fisher in chat reminding me.
だいぶ匂いだ
Leprosy.
と思ってるな。こうも少し炊くか。
I will say the oddity of animation when they were showing the rashes spreading across her actually looked pretty beautiful. Obviously, not what it would really look like. So,
そうか。わかった。ここにいればあの客が来ることはない。六召喚の顧客で古い馴染みのあの男。
so she fucking knows Lakan. Also, again, instantly one of my theories crushed because obviously she's not the pure consort wearing makeup.
バカな女。
But also, wouldn't this make her Maomao's mother, according to my previous theory?
客さんもう帰ったよ。
めいめい姉ちゃんが相手してたの？
他にいないでしょ。よかった。姉さん今
I
日
mean,
は
I
具合良
hope
さそう
not.
ね。
My previous theory was that you were gonna
マオマオに
wind
ま
up
た
with
あ
him.
の話が来たわ。
姉ちゃんよく付き合えるね。
そう？おばばも金払いさえ良ければ何も言わないし。
ババアが私を妓女に従うのはそういうことだろうね。雇われてなければ今頃売り飛ばされてたかも。
他から見たらまたとないご縁だわよ。
Yeah, I guess there's a world that exists that she did not get kidnapped in the first episode and would have wound up with Lakan.
金の重みでそんなもん蹴り飛ばすからね。
極楽行きの船賃を溜め込んでるから仕方ないわよ。私もそろそろいい年だし、ちゃんと考えないとね。
There's a surprising amount of bathing scenes in the back half.
独立すれば。
もう少しだけ。もう少しだけこの仕事続け。
Maybe I'm right. Maybe both things are true. Maybe Lakan's a fucking monster and falls in love. Both things can happen.
考えたくもない。もしそれが恋というものだとしたら。そんな感情はきっと私を産んだ女の体内に置いてきてしまった。
久しぶりに背中流そうか。
いいよ。
いいからいいから。
Again, I gotta really rewatch the beginning of the episode to see if it's the woman trying to kill her or if Lakan has tied her up and is trying to kill her.
サービスするんだから乗客の件も忘れないでよ。
Look, this is clearly fan service bits, but at the same time, I at least appreciate that they loaded up on backstory shit before we got to it.
そんなものを買いに行ったわけじゃないのに。薬屋少しいいか。
はい。
睡蓮と飲んでくれ。変人からのお土産だ。
変人からですか？
Yeah, it's
あり
Lakan's.
がとうございます。
ああ。
それでは仕事に戻りますので。
Does Maomao have the opinion now that Jinshi is just another guy?
今夜は精進料理だから、シャオマオも肉や魚をつままないようにね。休憩中だからってお留守になりすぎちゃダメよ。
精進料理ですよね。しまった。仕事してればすぐに頭から離れると思ったんだけど。
それと
See, the thing that first came to my mind is the fact that he explicitly hiding her nose under the hair. And I'm worried that she doesn't have a nose. But I don't know what the complications of syphilis are other than, you know, people go fucking crazy.
知人の住まう場所を薬棚扱いはできません。
Like it affects the
気
mind.
にしてないように見えて、結構区切りをつけているわよね。
私は卑しい生まれの娘ですから、ここにいるのも本当に不思議な縁です。
そうね。でも尊い生まれだからといって最初から別のものだと思わないで。何がどう転がって人生どうなるかなんてわからないもの。身分だけで何でも分けるのはもったいないわ。
Reminds me of that speech from Genius Prince, where he, you know, covers the fact that everyone with like a miraculous bloodline had an originator who themselves was a peasant to begin with.
薬をいただきに参りました。
ああ、少し待っていろ。
ヤブ医者が管理する高級の医局とは大違いだ。こ こは軍部が近くて怪我人も多いから。
Yeah, I would have expected the quack doctor's place to be better than the
痛みが口の中に広がる。
outer palace place.
薬棚には何が入ってるんだろう。医局中を漁りたい。いや、ダメだ。こらえろ。何やってるの。
Here we go.
あの時
She had a knife in the next time on.
ただ薬を待っていただけですが。
スイレイ来ていたのか。
Oh, she's Saray.
の常備薬をいただきに。
あ、
So she has a connection to Lakan. Sorry, did I know she was Saray?
そういえば以前あったのも軍部の近くだったな。
Yeah, with the
薬草
smell.
の匂いがしたのは軍部
Exactly.
に勤めているからか。妙に毛嫌いされてるような。
他にいるもの
I guess for some reason, in a moment, I thought Saray was the name of the old lady that serves jinshi. I know she has an S name.
彼女なんてやらなくていいのに。なんでもない。それより薬だろ。
Wait a second, if that woman was her mother, not Saray, but the syphilis lady, and Lakan were a thing, wouldn't that imply that Lakan has syphilis?
jinshi様の薬だよな。考えてみたらjinshi様は不可解な点が多い。半月に一度ほど定期的に回ってくる仕事も
Or
そう
did
だ
he
けど、
like find a way to give her syphilis
前
without?
日からゆっくり弱みをして。
There's just so much in this episode I'm already going to be taking so many notes about.
まるでみそぎだ。宦官も採取をやれるのだろうか。高貴な人物であれば
Okay, is that
おか
the
しくない
ceremony
け
that
ど、
we see in the opening of the
それほ
show,
ど
the
のことが
purification
なぜ宦
ceremony?
官に。jinshi様も先の皇太后、女帝の一存で宦官にされてしまったのだろうか。親父のよう
That would
に。
be a kick in the teeth, wouldn't it?
あの娘の養父は
Your mother not knowing that you're her son makes you a eunuch? Oh, sorry, it's not the. Sorry. I keep forgetting he would be the son of the current emperor, not the former emperor.
失礼するよ。
Still, technically, you'd be making a eunuch by your grandma.
先日の話の続きをしましょうか。
Seems like that he buys a pot, like a new pot every day.
本当に随分悪どいことをされたようですね。
失礼な。トンビには言われたくないですな。10年以上かけてようやくやり手ババアを説得したのに、横からかっさらわれた身にもなるといい。
油揚げを返せと。
いや、いくらでも出しましょう。昔と同じ鉄は踏みたくないのでね。
嫌だと言ったら。
そう言われると何も言えませんな。あなた様に逆らえるものなど片手の指ほども存在しない。
Yeah, but I mean, you were pretty fucking underhanded.
俺の正体に気づいている。
ただ、娘が
Okay, so I think we in the audience are expected to know now who Jinshi really is. Otherwise, he wouldn't just say that.
嫌だ。
Or, sorry, think that.
認めたくないが。ラカンはマオマオの実の父親だ。
Okay, so I was right.
娘にそのうち会いに行くと伝えていただけますか。では。
So I guess then implying that we still need to confirm that the syphilis lady? Or is that the expected confirmation?
はい。
今度お前に会いたいという官がいるのだが。
どんな方ですか？
前から話している変人だ。名はラカンという。
Ew.
どうにか断っておく。
ありがとうございます。では。
That was like the, when One Punch Man goes to punch somebody and the death thing comes up.
あんな顔は初めて見た。もう二度と見たくない。
やっぱり気づかれてたか。
I mean, how could he not have? He's fucking keeping track of you. Is this where the knife is gonna show up?
この匂い。
薬草畑だ。ここにも、そこにも、あそこにも。
またあなたなの。
Okay, so it wasn't a knife, it was a sickle.
いかん。これはどう見ても怪しすぎる。安心してください。まだ何も取ってません。その手の汚れ、今から取ろうとしてたと認識していいかしら。別に咎めないわよ。ここは非公式な畑だし、ただイカンも知っている場所だからあまり出入りしない方がいいわ。この場を任せる。
Okay, I was worried about her for a
さ
second.
あね。私も好きなものを植えさせてもらっているだけ。雑草だけを選んで抜いている。確か水霊と呼ばれていたな。人のことは言えないが、あまり活力のあふれる性格ではなさそうだ。
I mean, I've been 100% wrong about who I thought this woman was, so...
よみがえりの薬。それは死者がよみがえることのできる薬。そんなものが実在するなら喉から手が出るほど欲しい。冗談よ。
Why? And applying to who?
あなたクス師って聞いたけど、どれほどの腕前なのかしら。
So there's just a weird jump because I don't feel like anything's been applied yet. I mean, unless you're gonna kill the syphilis lady and then bring her back to life.
ここに朝顔を植えるわ。
I don't know what morning glories mean. I've already covered I'm stupid when it comes to flowers. That was clearly just meant to be a message to Maomao. Oh, there's that opening scene. Because you don't come there, weed like 4 weeds, and then walk away. And I was also about thinking to myself, quite literally, she didn't bring anything to do with the weeds. You don't weed and then throw it right back to where you took it out. It'll root itself right back where you took it out from. So quite literally, she didn't do anything. So from that perspective, she only came out, I guess, with an item that she could have reasonably defended herself with had things gone poorly, but also have an excuse for carrying, while at the same time only going out there to talk to Maomao. I imagine. I mean, I have no reasonable expectation to know why she would think Maomao was out there, but Maomao was. Yeah, I guess the element here of my constant guessing about things is the element of not being surprised that Lakan is her father when I literally just guessed that a little bit earlier. Though I guess that is ultimately the best time to make a guess, because you're not spoiled for lead up, and it's less shocking. I mean, granted, this is a reaction channel, so maybe you would be like, oh my god, I was right, blah blah blah. At the same time, it's stone-faced reactions. You get what's on the tin. Okay, I guess I'm gonna be wrong about more stuff. Well, one, that looks like Lakan was gonna have Maomao beaten. That's not great. Also, what I thought was happening in the opening was Jinshi performing a ritual and then looking back, and I said that I guessed it was going to be Maomao. However, I think in my more recent guesses, I have guessed that Maomao was going to fake her death and then surprise Jinshi, because I thought Jinshi would be doing the ritual because he would think Maomao was dead, and then she would have faked it, come back, whatever, right? But this seems like she's just rushing up, like, don't, or whatever. I don't know, I guess I was thinking about a bigger conspiracy at play, because I thought the other woman then also bringing up the idea of a medicine that can bring people back from the dead was going to be a, I don't know what it's called, like those coma states that you put people into in stories like this to fake their death, where like their heart rate slows down a lot, the breathing becomes so shallow as to make you believe they were dead. Like a lesser person would think that they were lesser person, lesser skilled in medicine person, would have you believe they were dead. I thought the previous theory and the medicine that she is describing would be alluding to that. The fact that I don't know what morning glories imply or are used in could still be an element of that there, but it doesn't feel like that's what's being implied by the next time on. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, yeah, there's so much here. So much here. Again, everything I thought, I don't think it was called the alcove, but that's what I'm thinking in my head. It was referred to as before. In the first half, when she first goes back to the Verdigris house, have you visited the yet? Pretty sure that's where I first came up with the idea that maybe she had a sister or her mother was there. The idea now that Lumen adopts her after, but then Lumen is the one who first starts treating her mother for syphilis, would be the reason why that happens. But then why did Lakan? Well, I guess, sorry, putting it all together now in my head. Okay, so here's the sequence of events that I am seeing in my head. Lakan falls in love with this courtesan at the Vertiger's house, back when it was a disreputable place, as Maomao is describing. Two other people, I might have to put that on the board, that there might be two people in the wings waiting to swoop in on this too. Two other people are trying to get this woman. Lakan can't afford that, apparently, and essays her to make her pregnant with his kid, reducing her value to nil. She then has his baby, and again, this is the thing, I'm gonna have to rewatch that scene, because I do not know if I saw what I saw, or if I was just interpreting, or if it was too dark and I just didn't recognize it. Seems like Lakan may have delivered the baby was delivered, whatever. The mother's hands were tied up, I think, and it looks like Lakan is perched over the child with a knife like he's going to kill the baby. If that is the case, again, could be wrong, as I already said 100 times now, I think I may have misunderstood it. We'll watch in the rewatch. That's the case, that would at least answer why Lakan has not been involved at any point in time with Maomao leading up to now, and why he would then have to go through all of these channels and means to encounter her again. That he did something regrettable early on, and then just didn't come back to. And then at some point after that, I guess the mother gets syphilis because of the Vertiger's house being such a disreputable place. Yeah, because I think that's the implication, that Lakan does not have syphilis, but she gets syphilis from somewhere else, I guess via the regret or depression or whatever of not paying attention due to the whole child thing, and of course Lakan leading her up to it. That, or it's an element at play that we're leaning back. Remember what I mentioned before? The element that the show leads you with stuff that's not important in the episode that it takes place in, but becomes important later. The part where Maomao talks about people with certain scents trying to hide the fact that they have venereal diseases. She brought that up literally last episode. Didn't seem important to anything. Here we have her mother has syphilis. Thus why Maomao knows so much about that one particular thing, even though she doesn't particularly work that aspect of things. It happened to somebody I guess she cares about. It's hard to tell. I assume she cares about her mother. The element that she has a hard time dealing with the side effects that the syphilis are having on her. Like, I can't tell if she is, like, pitying her, regretful for her position, or just doesn't fucking care about her at all. It's difficult. And then I guess Lumen shows up, takes care of her, adopts her child, who, again, it seems like Lakan has abandoned, and then raised the daughter to become an apothecary, takes care of her at the Verdigris house, has a job at the Verdigris house. Lumen then takes care of the Verdigris house stuff as well. Again, the element there then is that is a massive backstory trail of events just from Lakan and her mother, where Lumen sidelines himself into, but Lumen, as I keep referring to, is, I feel like, part of his own conspiracy, where his own backstory has his whole thing too. Again, I mean, it's an element of the show that I really appreciate, is that everybody is fleshed out with their own whole thing coming in. You know, like, Jinshi is doing all this shit, and we've got so much shit about, like, Jinshi being the son of the current emperor, but everyone thinks that he is the son of somebody. It's so fucking deep. It's so fucking deep, and we are only 18 episodes in. I know, only, but I feel like I've read like 5 novels at this point. Like, the conspiracy board, or sorry, the concept board, might as well be the conspiracy board. The concept board that I have is wholly not doing its job. I have so much shit rattling around in my brain about what I think is going on that I have no ability to translate it to the concept board without, like, sorry, I'm thinking, like, what I think about doing when I'm doing the link click concept board, about, like, trying to represent events through time, like I did when I was trying to present what Emma's storyline was via the events in the timeline. How to represent, like, Lumen's learning Western medicine, becoming a eunuch due to Anshi, being accused of switching the babies around, having his leg broken, sent out to outside the palace, encountering the Verdigris house, adopting Maomao, becoming this old man that we know now, and then putting that in a timeline of events visually on a board to then also represent Lakan falling in love with a courtesan, ruining her, giving birth to Maomao, possibly trying to kill Maomao, coming back around later to try and get Maomao back after already having encountered Jinshi, then putting Jinshi's shit on the same. How do I represent that visually? I feel like I need to have a movie made or something to be able to figure this out. I don't know. I guess for the notes next time, because we still have a Maomao's notes thing to go through here before blood starts squirting out of my nose. So, yeah, let's go ahead and head on into that.
Maomao no Hitorigoto.
Herbs. Maybe they'll tell us what morning glories are about.
外邸に薬草はほとんど生えていないと思っていたが、ここは楽園じゃないか。マオマオの豆知識。薬草は実や花、葉や経費、根など種類によって活用できる
Let me know what morning glories are about.
育てる際には特性に合った環境を整えることが重要だ。また、薬草の中には野菜と一緒に植えると虫除けや野菜の病気予防の効果を持つものもあるとか。
Guess not. Yeah, it's gonna be Jinshi. Yeah.
お前だったのか。
あ、ジンシ様。びっくりした。あの人が戻ってきたのかと思った。
Yeah, I mean,
こんなところで何を
Should
してい
be
る
her, but Jinshi's the only one we
スイレンさんに
animate
頼まれ
these.
た用事がございまして、ジンシ様はどうしてこちらに？
ああ、ここに不審者がいると今しがたすれ違った幹女から報告を受けてな。
あいつめ、別に咎めないわよとか言ってたくせに、私が懲りずに薬草を採取することを
Again, the
考え
element
ていた
that
の
I
か。
think these are canon. I think things that happen in the
本
notes
当
are
はここで
canon.
何をしていたんだ？
まずい、医官が管理している薬草を無断で引っこ抜いていたとは言えない。
おい、どこへ行く？
Except for that
次
part.
回、偶然か必然か、大きな事故、はたまた事件が起ころうとしている。
I mean, yeah, again, it looks like you're about to get fucking beat by a squad with Lakan at the head of it. Which, you know, as I said during Lakan's meeting with Jinshi, the dude's fucking insidious. He's underhanded. Like, when he says, there's no way a man like me could, you know, I can't remember his words, stand against a guy of your position. He's like, oh no, he knows who I am. But it's also like he's being two-faced. I could stand against a guy like you. You are not on my level about doing shit like this. I mean, when you look at them comparing, Jinshi cried when Adu got kicked out of the rear palace. Lakan fucking ruined a whole bunch of people's lives and is still grinning about it. The dude's got no problem doing the shit he's gonna be doing. You've got the authority to get him out of the way. I don't think you have the ability. But then again, that might be what the whole end credits thing is. I still haven't parsed the end credits to what's going on, kind of the same way that I've done with the opening, because it's mostly Jinshi seeming in, I don't know, meditation, thought, regret, while holding his sword, and as we already covered, events that might be important but not important now. Jinshi has goddamn words not coming to me. Not welts, not bruises, calluses. He's got calluses on his hands. And I think during an episode we even specifically looked at the sword on the wall. And in the very first half of the season, we were doing the Basen Jinshi sparring match. It's the one that I keep referring back to where Jinshi refers back to the Ma clan and that Basen has their blood flowing through his veins. I keep referring to because, like, he says that, and it has to mean something. And the whole element of Gao Shun standing in the background grinning, making me think that he's also related to that somehow. Yeah, so the fact that he is there, like, shirtless, sitting on the sill, holding the sword, and he goes through, like, a whole day-night cycle. Maybe he's preparing for a duel? Maybe he's gonna duel Jinshi? Not Jinshi is him. Jinshi is he. Maybe he's gonna duel Lakan or a Lakan representative? There's also the element that we've already brought in, Lakan's, like, assistant, who was looking for him after the warehouse fire, and they haven't shown back up again. I feel like there's this whole cadre of people around Lakan. The possibility that Suri is also in that cadre, I don't know, at play that we're not being introduced to yet, which would make me assume that we're going to be introduced to them later, as an element of a reveal, kind of the same way that we did with the whole honey thing. I don't know. Again, I feel like this is going to be an element of notes for later, because if left to my own devices, I will just ramble about this. And I mean, in the same terms that if you've ever watched the 2 to 3 hour reactions that me and Lessons do sometimes, I will just circle back around on a point, because sometimes circling back around on a point will give you new ideas, or things will be cast in a fresh light based on things that you then talk about in the course of circling. The idea of having thoughts on your own versus having thoughts at a sounding board, right? having somebody to talk to at them can give you the presence of mind to reimagine certain events. That's typically why I do the notes also, is that in the week between, I might have a thought, or in the rewatch, I'll have a thought. And just having a notepad to write these things down at, and then go back to, and then add notes to the thoughts that you have, can give you new context to those ideas. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this episode. So, once again, I have been Theta, this has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?